Shabbat Shalom and greetings to you all. Now we're but a few days to Holocaust Memorial Day. Every year on the 27th of January, a liberation day for the most infamous of all concentration camps. We must shine a light on this tragedy and ensure everyone is aware and everyone stands together in the unification of never again. So for illumination, we must light the darkness. So on the 27th, take a moment, light a candle for the 6 million martyrs. There'll be millions of candles lit. The souls of those lost will be elevated. The world will know we will not forget. Not ever. This was the most extreme case of genocide the world had ever seen. It was different from genocides before and after. And there were genocides before and after. Two things made it different. First, the scope and totality of intent to kill every Jew, man, woman, child, within the confines of the reaches of the Reich, which is really quite extensive. And the methodology is the second. The use of the administrative, the bureaucratic, the technological ability of an entire nation state. Many closed their eyes where the camps were and the world over, including the bastions of truth and freedom like the New York Times, which refused to disclose what it knew. I guess it's never really stood by its masthead of all the news that's fit to print. When will the platitudes of never again stop and never again be never again? I don't want to have to say never again. I want to know it is never again. And we also have the year of the snake right after on the 29th. And it's the new moon of Aquarius. The first order God gave man was to observe and celebrate the new moon. Now, Aquarius in Hebrew is the month of Shvat, and it's a little confusing because the Torah does not give names to the months. They simply count from Nisan, which the Torah tells us is the first month. Now, putting Rosh Hashanah and its supplanting of Nisan as the beginning of the year aside for a moment, that makes Shvat the 11th month, and the 11th sign of the zodiac is Aquarius. And Aquarius is all about blessings of abundance and dreams, new life, as we see new life starting as the sun gets stronger, the dissemination of divine instruction from the heavens to the world. So the month of Shvat also represents a saying in Hebrew, Shenishma Vesurot Tovot. We should be blessed to share good tidings. And I know you are all in for good tidings in this new year ahead. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. Age of Aquarius, Aquarius, Aquarius. Harmony and understanding, sympathy and trust abounding. No more falsehood or derision, golden living dreams of vision, Christic mystic revelation, and the mind's true liberation. Aquarius. Now this month and this year that's about to start, make a wish, it will come true. This is the month of hopes, dreams, and wishes, and anything can happen. You never know what the divine plan of your life may entail. Now this year is going to be the year of the wood snake. And of course snakes always represent certain things. It'll be a year of death and rebirth as the snake sheds its skin. So things will end and things will begin. Many look to the recent transfer of power in the USA as a perfect example of that. Now the snake is one of the Earth's creatures most in tune with the heartbeat of Mother Earth, as it's always connected to it. Its movements are of wisdom, awareness, transformation. When the snake rules, expect to hop on a roller coaster of change. And the change is not just personal change, but the world is going through change. Some good, some not. As we sit idly by, geography is changing. And I fear that with the devastation of Southern California, a new blueprint can be formed. With the destruction of huge areas, they may never be rebuilt. In fact, in all likelihood, most of the victims of these ungodly fires will never get enough in insurance payments to rebuild what they lost. So they'll have to settle and move on. Now, if they did want to rebuild, they would also need somewhere to go to live. couple of years, because it takes a minimum of 2 years to rebuild their house with a cost that would actually be much higher due to newer codes and laws and the demand of supplies and trades. How many have the resources? Perhaps only the rich and powerful. And so what may happen is the land will be bought up by the new carpetbaggers, who have other homes and can live there while their new compounds are built to ensure their personal privacy. This should not be allowed to happen. It is a new method of displacement of a population, just as there's another displacement occurring right now where the people, about in North Carolina, with its blizzard conditions and freezing temperatures, are still living in tents, getting nothing from anyone. So we have fire and ice on the two opposite coasts. And we're going to be reading about fire and ice today. We're witnessing a modern wilderness generation. And one may never know what will happen without knowing it, without realizing it. An old shepherd was handpicked to deliver freedom to a wilderness group. And we have the ability to constantly be freeing ourselves from the limitations we impose. And we are each of us equal to the task as that shepherd was. One of the ways we free ourselves is our freedom to observe the spiritual practices unique to our own lives, like now, when we come together as a like-minded group. A collective consciousness of seekers showing faith, any and all faith, love, any and all love, as we come together as a community, a fellowship, a chavura, as we express our nature of kindness, compassion, thoughts, feelings, hopes, dreams, and wishes that unites us all in this community house of Spirit Beth Ruach, sharing and bringing light, keeping fear at bay. And even though together, we're each individual in our approach, each connecting in his or her or their own way, and encouraged to do so. So once again, please do go ahead. Invite everybody physically, digitally, psychically, emotionally, spiritually, any way at all, to gather and share. From Psalm 133, the Hine Matov, come together. Hine Matov, Umanai, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov, Umanai, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. How good and how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters together. Community. 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 Together. We support each other in this community, so let's all spread love, goodwill, and fellowship to the world. Remember, friends, this is you setting aside just a little bit of sacred time in your own sacred space to honor and converse with whatever you happen to believe in, because we all believe in something. It's a part of your intention, your kavana, that you put out to the universe. It's your goodwill. Goodwill and intention are the roots of what you can control, of what you can correct. Your intention sets in motion everything that occurs in your lives. And it's goodwill, energy, light that we send that helps heal whoever you know that needs it. Because healing and renewal is for everybody. It floats through space, finding those in need. So send it out for those you know and for the souls and spirits of everybody you love. So think of whoever that needs healing and renewal and love or just plain goodwill. Focus on them. Call their names. It's not just for people. It is for our pets. It's for the earth. It is the healing of the world. The tikkun olam that's part of our spiritual genetic makeup. And a part of the healing of the world is when we send thoughts and energy for health and renewal and goodwill for everybody. Even though this is the prayer for the sick, they don't have to be sick. It's for those in our hearts and our minds. Let's all send energy out for the people in need everywhere. Special thoughts and prayers always for those in assistance. We pray for those who need prayer. We don't have to know them because we want health, recovery, good life for everybody around us. And let's continue to send healing energy for the hostages still held, still in prison, still languishing in their pits of despair, and let's demand their freedom. 3 freed from 100 is nothing. And let's also pray for those closer to us. For Charles, Rosanna, Alan, and Miriam. For the Calosaurus and Carson. For Amin, Gabby and AJ, Trevor, Jess. For poor Terry and Luke. For the Elf. For Sabrina and Dave. For Marie and Paul. For PJ. For Marlu. For Shelley and Lucy. For Gloria. For Winston and Inura. For Deep Thinking Alana. For Johnny and Fern, Kathleen and Carla. For Mina. For Marie and John. For Doria. Connie. Ronnie. For Mayim and Tally. For Nina. Danny. For all those suffering and in need, let's not forget to include the familiars of our lives, all of our sacred animal friends everywhere. For everyone you know in need, for the whole world, for the bee. Friends, it is the kindness, the healing wishes, goodwill, and love we all send out. It just circles the world finding those in need. So thank you, each of you, for all you do, for all you care, because the world is a world of spirit. And spirit, my friends, never dies. Me, Shabbat. Avotenu Makor HaBracha Limotenu, may the source of strength bless the ones before us, help us find the courage, make our lives a blessing, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit. Let us say, Amen. Mishaberach, let us have our spirits renewed. This is the great prayer for healing, which we call upon God to heal, as He has healed before. Mishaberach, may He who bless, because all healing is a blessing. Let's all send and receive healing and renewal energy in our efforts to love, to share, to care, to grow. Now, we crossed the line last week when we began this new book, so different from the others. We were told it is the book of names, and God told Moses his name. The whole idea of names may not have meant a lot, but it will as we read further. This week, God introduces Himself to the world with the most powerful calling card of all time, still reverberating to this day as we read about the first 7 plagues of Egypt. You're now going to get your first glimpse, your first inkling, your first hint at a promised land. And you know what? You have a promised land. We all do. Now, we think of the Exodus. We think of 3 things. And like a great book or play or a film, they serve as an introduction, a climax, a finale. Those are the 3 key ingredients. And we see them. The plagues, the splitting of the Red Sea, the giving of the 10 Commandments. You can write an entire book on these 3 things. And there is a definite introduction. There is a definite climax. But there's not as clear a finale. Part of our introduction is today, as we read Va'era, and I appeared. God introduces Himself right now. And this week we get a little insight into Moses and Aaron's background in the first meeting with Pharaoh. And with it a little magic reappears, the staff that becomes a serpent and the first of, the group of plagues. God recounts His history with the patriarchs to Moses. But what He says is perhaps not correct. He says He wasn't known as Yahweh, but as El Shaddai, which we have seen before, but we had actually also seen Yahweh. So it's a name we actually already knew. If we accept the Torah was edited subsequently, we can accept the statement and chalk up use of the name Yahweh earlier as edit privilege. But if we believe this was written as unedited history, we've got a harder time because we know that Yahweh was used. It's one of the things about naming provisions and names that gets confusing in the book of names. Now, I said last week that this story is not what you originally thought. It's not Pharaoh who will keep the people there. It is God, not allowing Pharaoh to let the people go. It's a part of God's design in His introduction to the world. So there's this new mission for this book. Exodus 6:6. Therefore say to the children of Israel, I am Yahweh, and I shall bring you out from under Egypt's burdens, and I shall rescue you from their toil, and I shall redeem you with an outstretched arm, with tremendous judgments. And I shall take you to me as a people, and I shall become your God. And you'll know that I am Yahweh, your God, who is bringing you out from under Egypt's burdens. The dominant theme of Exodus is the Lord's becoming known, which is connected explicitly here to the rescue from slavery and to the judgments that will occur in Egypt. And it will continue to be stated several times as a reason for the miraculous plagues. Moses spoke in front of the Lord, saying, here, the children of Israel didn't listen to me. How will Pharaoh listen to me? And me, I'm uncircumcised of lips. Now, we've been taught, and there's a fantastic Midrash story, my favorite Moses story, because it's an origin of an event story, that Moses had a speech impediment, probably worse than a stutter. Now, it's accepted as a fact, but as I said last week, we look for common words or terms, and the only common term is foreign speaking. So Moses didn't have a speech impediment. It's far more likely Moses just didn't speak the language. And the uncircumcised of lips is another of the obscure references in this section. Is in two different instances. There is reference to circumcision of the heart, the organ of understanding and connection. And with the lips we speak the things that is in our hearts. Exodus 6:29. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, I am Yahweh, speak to Pharaoh, king of Egypt, everything that I speak to you. Now the great meeting's going to take place. Moses is going to ask Pharaoh to let the people go. With everything you will read, be open to the myriads of possibilities as to what something may also really mean. We're going to see today, as we do every time we get together and read from this great book, that things aren't always what they seem. We see right away, and Moses demonstrated quickly, the people were not going to listen to him. And things were not as simple as it appeared. After his first chat with Pharaoh, Pharaoh ordered the people to make bricks without giving them straw. Not so easy. With this, Moses is more determined now to not be the spokesperson for God. He sees himself as a failure, a poor choice, as a loser. He didn't want this job to begin with. What have I done to deserve such a fate? I realize I have left it too late. And so it's true, pride comes before a fall. I'm telling you so that you won't lose all. I'm a loser, and I'm not what I appear to be. And you know what? We actually spend much of our lives making bricks without straw. Your doubts and fears keep you in slavery. You face a situation which seems hopeless. Well, what can you do? Find a way. We persevere. We overcome. That, my friends, is making bricks without straw. But even when things seem dark, God makes a way where there is no way. That is faith. And that's one of the great lessons in this book. Let's now free ourselves from the tyrants of negative thinking. We have been slaves to doubts, fears, and apprehensions. Let us be delivered, as Moses delivered the children of Israel. Let us come out of the land of Egypt, the land of constraint, out of the house of bondage. Now, we've all seen the film. We all believe we were there. We've been told for millennia that we were all there, and we were. This is a reminder of what we went through. And we carried all of these thousands of years with us. Now, Moses didn't want to be here. He never thought he was the one to lead the people, even though God will tell Moses what to say, and that he, God, will harden Pharaoh's heart so Pharaoh won't be able to let people go, so that God can demonstrate his power. And how's he going to do the demonstration? By the plagues. And we're going to talk about them shortly, but first we're told in Exodus 7:7, Moses was 80 and Aaron 83 when they spoke to Pharaoh. No wonder Moses didn't want the job. He was a little on the old side. But friends, we change and we evolve throughout life. Career change takes place most often now for people between 40 and 50 years old, even 60. Maybe they're bored. Maybe they've learned they'd rather be doing something else. Maybe they were cast aside because of their age or cost. But the lesson is, it is never too late. Okay, Sam Walton began Walmart when he was 44. Colonel Sanders began franchising Kentucky Fried Chicken when he was 62. Duncan Hines wrote his first cookbook at 55. Ray Kroc was 50 when he met the McDonald brothers. Ronald Reagan switched from acting to politics, running for governor at 54. And Arnold the Terminator did the same at 56. Grandma Moses began painting at 77. Beethoven was fully deaf when he wrote the Great Ode to Joy. Now, the other Moses, the one we're reading about, changed career a few times. In his youth, he was a prince of Egypt, a warrior, probably a priest. At 40, he became a shepherd. Now at 80, he's a prophet and a tool of God, a job he's going to hold for the next 40 years. What do you want to do? What stops you? Friends, we can change. And we can make changes anytime. We can change the world as we change ourselves. History is filled with individuals who changed careers or discovered something in advanced years. You are only as old as you feel. And it may be a tired expression, but it's never too late to feel young again. You made me feel so young. You make me feel so spring has sprung. Every time I see you grin, I'm such a happy individual the moment that you speak. I wanna go play hide and seek. I wanna go and bounce the moon just like a toy balloon. You are really forever young. Now we now have an interplay that we're going to see between all three key characters: Moses, Pharaoh, God. Moses was chosen for this job. But God's not going to make it any easy. Exodus 7:3. And I'll harden Pharaoh's heart, and I'll multiply my signs and wonders in the land of Egypt. Pharaoh won't listen to you. And I'll set my hand in Egypt and bring out my masses, my people, the children of Israel, from the land of Egypt with great judgments. And Egypt will know that I am the Lord when I reach out my hand on Egypt, and I'll bring out the children of Israel from among them. Now you're going to see several times that even when Pharaoh wants to let the people go, God will prevent it. And he will use the same phrase many times, that about hardening the heart. Pay attention to the times you see this phrase and note who brings about the happiness. A few times it's very specific, a few times it's not. But go back to what God said he would do earlier. He would harden Pharaoh's heart. Why? This was not done for punishment, as people think. This is done as a part of God's introduction of himself to the world. We're taught that Pharaoh was mean. He would not let the people go. This was karma for how the Egyptians treated the Israelites. No. This was of design from the beginning. It was not to punish the Egyptians, not to stop slavery or injustice. That will continue. That does continue. It was so he can introduce himself to the world. And what an introduction. Go to Pharaoh in the morning. Here. He'll be going out to the water, and you'll stand opposite him on the bank of the Nile. You shall take in your hand the staff that was changed into a snake, and you'll say to him, Yahweh, the God of the heavens, sent me to you, saying, let my people go so they may serve me in the wilderness. And here you haven't listened so far. Yahweh said this, by this you'll know that I am Yahweh. Here I'm striking with the staff that's in my hand on the waters that are in the Nile, and they'll be changed into blood. This is the introduction of the 10 plagues. And it's the perfect time to use the name of God, not as a stated name, but as the meaning of the name, because that's what people would have understood. Not by this you'll know I am the Lord, but by this you'll know I am the one who causes being. So when people heard the name Yahweh, they knew it meant he who caused being. Now these are now the plagues of Egypt. Makot Mitzrayim. It's our real introduction. They're still applicable in your life. We're going to talk about them when we gather for Passover. Now the first of the 10 is the blood of the Nile. You need water. You can't drink. Try going a week without water. Try going a day. The fish die. Dead fish stink. So the ramifications of the plague in many ways are worse than the plague itself. It's never just the thing, but all the ancillary effects. Next come frogs, lice, and then an insect swarm, also known as a rovo, horde, the only use of the term in the Bible. What's a horde? It's a mob. This is a warning of the plague that is the mob. And this might still be the most prevalent plague today. Now notice at this point Pharaoh says, go, get out. But something stops him. And his heart is made heavy and he changes his mind. Did he change his mind? Did God? Next we get a livestock epidemic, a pestilence, but only affecting Egypt's livestock, not Israel's. That in itself announces that this is part of the theme of distinction, separation, that overrides the entire Torah and the story of creation. Begin to notice how much of the Bible is based on distinctions, divisions, separations. And Yahweh did this thing on the next day, and all Egypt's livestock died, and all of the livestock of the children of Israel, not one died. So no water for a week. Now all the livestock are dead. So far it's not looking too good for Egypt. Our sixth plague comes from furnace ash thrown in the sky. So when it falls back down, it causes boils. The only use of furnace and ash. And to some it is a warning of events to come. Now this black dust from the kiln turns into broadcast contamination. A little 2020 there, perhaps. It's a plague clearly paired with the preceding plague of livestock pestilence. But this one affects man as well as beast. Now you got to wonder how many beasts are still alive. And it's followed by fiery hail, just in case anything survived, because pretty well nothing's surviving. But now we got weapons of the chemical dust. If fire them, we're forced to. Then fire them we must. One push of the button. And a shot the world wide. And you never ask questions when God's on your side. Now that's the never sung verse of With God on Our Side. Exodus 9:12. And the Lord strengthened Pharaoh's heart, and he did not listen to them. You're now being reminded who is causing Pharaoh to have a hardened heart. It's God. He does not let Pharaoh relent. He does not let Pharaoh let the people go. And so Pharaoh, the slave keeper, is a slave to God. He can only do what God has him do. Exodus 9:16. And in fact, I established you for this purpose, for the purpose of showing you my power, and in order to tell my name in all the earth. Yes, my friends, the world is sacred. So is everything in it. Express your gratitude, light a candle, make a wish. Celebrate your life and the lives of those you love. Share your feelings with them. Live free, be free, honor your freedom. Be well, be happy, be blessed. Share and honor the light. All who live in the light and continue to shine. Continue to send everybody you know goodwill and love. Pray for peace and freedom for everyone. An end to terror and hatred. Remember, friends, we're a community. We learn together. We celebrate with each other. We actually love each other. We share this right together, minimum and equally. So let's send out love, not fear. Send out peace, harmony, goodwill, and healing to all who need it. Please do learn to forgive. Learn to love. Open your hearts. Honor the relationships of your life and tell those you love that you love them. Examine your intentions. Use them to imprint your will on the universe, because we set in motion all that happens. It's our intention, our kavana, cause and effect. It's all linked. You always have the time to forgive and be forgiven. You have the knowledge of what's good and bad, so acknowledge what you have done wrong to yourself, to God, and to any person you've wronged. Ask forgiveness. But do so with sincerity, accountability, vulnerability. Forgive those you've hurt. You'll learn to be forgiving and compassionate, because the secret of forgiveness, compassion, and peace is in acceptance. Can you accept yourself, other people in the world, just as they are? Can you accept life as it is without trying to control it? Because if you do, you can experience the peace that acceptance brings. So keep on dreaming, my friends. Keep on being, keep sharing, keep shining, keep teaching. Keep spreading joy and goodwill. Do not follow fear, follow love, because it's always in front of you. Work to be present in the body. Expand the heart, quiet the mind. Because the deepest source of real power lies in consciousness and the ability to be mindful, to be aware, to be present in all of life's circumstances. So love with the heart. We're all part of a greater whole. Embrace love, not fear, forgiveness, not anger. Be there for someone, because someone will always be there for you, whether you know it or not. Continue to explore faith and belief, and never accept shame as a natural state, because whatever you feel others have felt, whatever you've experienced, others have too. We share together, we learn together, and we help each other, because we are each of us trying to find love and acceptance and support. We all have or could have that special someone in our lives, so find them and tell them what they mean. You're never alone on your journey. Listen to the voice of God as he, she, it, them, whatever, talks to you. And remember, your connection to God and all that's created in body and soul, it's a part of you, it's a part of me, it's a part of all of us. forever. Listen to his voice because God is talking to you all the time. Get ready for a new year and a new you. We are reading about the steps to freedom. Take them, free yourself from the constraints that you have imposed. White bird in a golden cage on a winter's day in the rain. White bird in a golden cage, alone. The leaves blow across the long black road to the darkened skies in its rage. But the white bird just sits in her cage, alone. White bird must fly, or she will die. White bird must fly, or she will die. White bird must fly, or she will die. Sunsets come, sunsets go. Clouds pie high, and the air moves slow, and the young bird's eyes do always know she must fly. She must fly. She must fly. We must fly. We must be free. We must fly. Thank you for joining me, my friends. Have a great week. A great new year. Make a wish. And I'll see you all soon. And I hope you all continue to celebrate all of the miracles of life. Thank you. Take care. Bye.